Hi, you are welcome to today's class. This is another class. Today we are going to be looking at the quadratic equations. We'll be solving quadratic equations. But before we start, you need to understand what are quadratic equation or what's a quadratic equation. For definition, a quadratic equation is a polynomial equation of the second degree, which means the highest power of the variable, usually denoted as x in the equation, is squared. The equation is what? Is squared. And the standard form of your quadratic equation, is always written as as squared plus bs plus bx plus c equals to 0. The a and the b, they are the coefficient of your x. Your x is a variable, is the unknown that you are trying to solve for. While the a and the b, they are the coefficient of x, while your c is considered as a constant. For an algebraic equation to be considered as a quadratic equation, the a must not be 0. The a must not be 0. That means that the coefficient of x squared must not be 0. So if you want to solve quadratic equation, how do you solve it? There are three main methods which you can use. You can use by factorization method, you can use by completing the square, or you can use the formula, the almighty formula, which is well common. But for today's class, we will be using the factorization method. We will be using the factorization method. So the first example here says d squared minus 5d plus 6 equals to 0. D squared minus 5d plus 6 equals to 0. If you want to use the factorization method, you need to understand that there is a way you need to do the first thing. Make sure that the first step is that the algebraic equation must be arranged in the standard form. Must be what? Must be arranged in the standard form. And the standard form is as squared plus bx plus c. And you know that a is the coefficient of a and b, they are coefficient of x, while your c is constant. If you look at the example here, the questions already arranged in the standard form of quadratic equation, so we don't need to do any other arrangement. Now, the first thing is that you need to identify the a, the b, and the c. For this equation, the coefficient of, even though we are not having x now, we are just having d. Our variable for this question is d. So the coefficient of d, which according to standard form is what? Is, according to the example, we're having 1, y plus 1 rather, is plus 1, while your b, the b is minus 5, while c, the constant, is plus 6. Now, if you are to use a factorization method, you have to first look for the product of the coefficient of s squared and c. What I'm saying is that you know that the coefficient of this square is plus 1 and the c is plus c. So what you do is this, that will be plus 1 times plus 6. That will give you plus 6. Now you look for the coefficient of x, as is your b, is minus 5. Now you now think of two factors that if you multiply it with each other, it will give you plus 6, and if you add or subtract it from each other, it will give you minus 5. So you have to look for two numbers that if you multiply it together, it will give you plus 6, and if you subtract or add it together, it will give you minus 5. Let's think about the possible number. What if we use plus 3 times plus 2? Plus 3 times plus 2 will give you what? Plus 6. But here lies the problem. Plus 3 plus 2 will give you what? Plus 5. Even though plus 3 times plus 2 will give you plus 5, but plus 3 plus 2 will now give you minus 5. So you have to think about numbers, the two factors that if you multiply it, it will give you plus 6, and if you add or subtract it, will give you minus 5. What about minus 3 times minus 2? So minus 3 times minus 2 will give you what? Plus 6, because minus times minus is what? Is plus. But if you now do minus 3 minus 2, minus 3 minus 2 is what? Minus 5. Can you see that these two factors, minus 3 and minus 2, has made the criteria we are looking for? That is, when you multiply the two factors, it must give you plus 6. Minus 3 minus 2 has given us plus 6. And if you add or subtract it, minus 3 minus 2 will give you what? Minus 5. So what you do is that you now go to the equation. Don't forget that we have found the two factors, minus 3 minus 2. So you come to your equation, you repeat that same d square. You're going to repeat that same d square minus. So instead of now writing the 5d, what you do is that you now input the two factors. As you know, we go minus 3 and minus 2, which meant the criteria we are looking for. So it will now be minus 3d minus 2d plus 6 equals to 0. So now the next thing is that you now factorize these two. That is, you look for similar. What is similar to d square minus 3d? What is similar there is just what? Is just d. So d in d square, you have d left, and d minus 3d. How many d can you see? That will be, you will be left with what? Minus 3. Now, how do you know you are correct or you have done the right thing? If you use this d to multiply everything inside this, you see that you still have d square minus 3. For example, now d times d, you can see that I'm still going to have d square. And if I should do d times minus 3, I will still have minus 3. So let's move to the other side. That is minus 2d plus 6. So you look for a factor that is common to both minus 2d and plus 6. Minus 2d and plus 6. We are going to settle for minus 2. Minus 2 is a factor for both minus 2d and plus 6. So if you use your minus 2, open a bracket, to divide minus 2d, you'll be left with what? With d. Then minus plus 6 divided by minus 2, you'll be having what? Minus 3. You can also confirm by using what you have, the number that you have outside the bracket, to multiply. How do you know that you are correct or you have done the right thing? By the time you multiply it, it must give you back this. Like minus 2 times d will give you minus 2d. Can you see? And minus 2 times minus 3 will give us plus 6. That shows that what? We are correct. You can now write it as d minus 2. Can you see now? D minus 2. D minus 3 equals to 0. D minus 2 minus bracket d minus 2, then bracket d minus 3. So you can now write it as this. We are solving for the roots. You can write that d minus 2 equals to 0, or d minus 3 equals to 0. You know that if I should move these two to this side, it turns to plus. So I will now say that d equals to 0 plus 2, and your d is what? Our d is 2, or now we're going to move this minus 3 here, equals to 0 plus 3, which is 3. So d is either 2 or 3. So both 2 and 3 are the root of the equation. So what I'm just saying is that if I should slot in 2 as a value of d or 3 as value of d in this equation, I will end up having what? I will end up having 0. We can check it. Yes, we can check it. The equation there is, we want to check it. Remember that you're having d square. The question is d square minus 5d plus 6 equals to 0, right? So we can just plot it. We got d equals to 2 or 3. So let's first use d as 2. We want to check whether we are correct. So instead of writing there, I'll just write 2 square minus 5 bracket 2 plus 6. If this is correct, we have to have 0. Now, what is 2 square? 2 square is what? 2 square is 4 minus 5 times 2, that will be minus 10 plus 6. Now, 4 minus 10, that will be minus 6. And minus 6 plus 6, that will give you 0. Can you see that this is correct? And I can also confirm it for 3. So you just say d square minus 5d plus 6 equals to 0. So we are using 3 now. So that will be 3 square minus 5 bracket 3 plus 6. What is 3 square? 3 square is 3 times 3, that will be 9. Minus 5 times 3, that will be minus 15 plus 6. Now, 9 minus 15. What is 9 minus 15? 9 minus 15 is what? Minus 6. Minus 6 plus 6, that will what? That will give you 0. Can you see that there? The 2 and 3 that we got, they are the right root for the quadratic equation. So let's go to example 2. Let's go to example 2. Example 2 says that r squared plus 12r minus 150 equals to 0. So you already see that the first step is that you arrange your quadratic equation in the standard form, that is ax squared plus bx plus c. It could be any sign equals to 0. Now, what you are going to do now is that identify your a, identify your b, identify your c. According to the question here, our a is the coefficient of r square. And what's the coefficient of r square? The coefficient of r square is plus 1. The coefficient of what? R square is plus 1. So that will be a is what? Plus 1. While your b is what? Plus 25. While your c is minus 150. Now, the next step is that you will multiply a and c together. That will be plus 1 times minus 150, which is minus 150. Okay? You know that we go minus 150, and our b is plus 25. Our b is plus 25. So you look for two factors, that is two numbers that if you multiply it to each other, it will give you minus 150, and if you add it together, it will give you plus 25. Let's try plus 10 times minus 15. Plus 10 times minus 50 will give you what? Minus 150. But there's a problem. What's the problem? Plus 10, if you add it together, minus 15 will give you what? Minus 5. Can you see that? Even though we go minus 150, if by the time you add plus 10 minus 15, it's not going to give you 25. So, which other factors can we use? We can try 30 and 5. Look at now. 30 and 5. Plus 30 times minus 5 will give you what? Minus 150. I see. Plus 30 times minus 5 is minus 150. Plus 30 minus 5 will give you what? Plus 25. Now you can see that we can use plus 30 and minus 5 because it meets the condition that we are looking for. Plus 30 times minus 5 will give you what? Minus 150. And plus 30 minus 5 will give you 25. So what we need to do is that we'll now slot, you go back to our question, you write your r square. So now we're writing plus 25, just write plus 30r minus 5r minus 150 equals to 0. Now that you have written that, the next thing is to factorize. So you start with these 2. So you ask yourself, what is common to r squared and 30r? That will be what? R is common to both. So when you divide the r squared with r, you are left with what? With r. Then plus 30r divided by r, you are left with what? 30. You have done that. You come to these 2. Then look for a factor that is common to both minus 5r minus 150. What is common? Minus 5 is common. So minus 5r divided by minus 5 will give what? R. Minus 150 divided by minus 5 will have what? Plus 30. Plus 30 equals to 0. Then the next thing to write is now, you cannot write r minus 5 bracket r plus 30 equals to what? Equals to 0. Now that you have written that, you can now move on by writing r minus 5 equals to 0 or r plus 30 equals to 0. So what you just do that, you move this 5 here, then r will be what? R will be 5, or you move your 30 here, that will be r equals to minus 30. So the root for this equation, r squared plus 25r minus 150 is what? Is r equals to 5 or r equals to minus 30. So we are going to check to see whether we are correct. You want to check. So if you want to check, all you need to do is that you write the equation. You know that the correct equation is r squared plus 25r minus 150 must give us 0. So what you do is that we're going to start with r equals to 5. So instead of writing r, I'll write 5 squared. So instead of writing r now, we are using 5 as our r. Then plus 25 bracket, instead of writing r, no, we are using 5 minus 150. If this is correct, we should arrive at 0. So 5 times 5 squared is 25. Why? 25 times 5, that will be what? 125 minus 150. 25 plus 125, that will be 150. 150 minus 150, that will be what? 0. Can you see that we arrive at 0? That means that r equals to 5 is true. So let's try r equals to minus 30. So what you do is that you write out the equation again. That will be r squared plus 25r minus 115 equals to 0. If r equals to minus 30 is correct, you will see it now. So instead of writing r squared now, what you do is that you do minus 30 of a square plus 25 minus 30, and you have minus 150. This should give us what? It should give us what? 0. So minus 30 times minus 30, that will be what? Plus, that will be plus 900. Plus 900. Plus 900. Now, plus 25 times minus 30, that will give you minus 750 minus 150. You see that? Plus 900 minus 750 minus 150, that will be minus 900. So plus 900 minus 900 will give you 0. This shows that both plus 5 and minus 30 are the root of this quadratic equation. So finally, we have come to the end of today's class. I have seen how to solve quadratic equation by factorization method. If you are here to subscribe to this YouTube channel, kindly make sure you subscribe, and also put on your notification button so that you can get notified when I post new videos. And do remember to share your view about today's class. Write something about today's class in the comment box. Thank you for watching. Bye.